Good morning, students. Today I am going to teach you about branch account. So before going to branch account, you have to know what is head office and what is branch. So whenever the firm is established in Bangalore, so let's take Infosys. So Infosys have been established in Bangalore and its operation is growing day by day. So what the Infosys thinks it, we can establish some branches in foreign countries also. So once if the same branches is extended in foreign countries, that is called as branch. So under branch you have independent branch and dependent branch. So independent branch in the sense whatever expenses the branch wants, whatever purchases the branch wants to make, the branch itself will take care. Whereas in dependent branch system, whatever purchases, whatever expenses has to be made, all the head office will take care of that. Simultaneously, after producing goods and services or after selling the goods and services, branch has to give the amount to the head office. So this is the concept of branch account. So we don't have time to go in deep about this branch account. Directly I'll step into problem. This problem have been asked in the financial accounting last year, that is 2022-23 paper. Okay, so this branch account is going to follow the rules of trading profit and loss account, and also we are going to see about some assets and liabilities in the same branch account. Okay, so we'll see the assets first. See, the concept is when opening assets is given, they have to give the closing assets. If any closing assets is missing, we need to prepare separate ledger working note in order to find out the closing value. Similarly, if closing value is given, opening value is not given, once again we have to prepare a small ledger in order to see out the opening and closing balances of certain assets and liabilities. So while I solve the problem, you will clearly understand. So as I said you, in branch account we are going to see the entries of trading profit and loss account as well as the balance sheet. So as we say, assets will have debit balance. The opening value of assets will always have debit balance. That is, so how, why we say it as debit balance and credit balance. So while we prepare this balance sheet, you can see liabilities this side and assets this side. When you retransfer it to some more account, assets comes on debit side, liabilities goes to credit side. That is why we always say always the assets will be having opening balance on the debit side. So let's see which are assets: stock, debtors and petty cash. These are the opening assets. Come to closing assets, they have given you petty cash, they have given you stock, but they haven't given you debtors. So we have to find out the closing debtors by preparing a small ledger account. I'll talk to that later. Next, goods sent to branch is nothing but purchases. In branch accounting language, we call purchases as goods sent to branch. So this one we are going to enter on the debit side. Sales, that is cash sales and cash received from debtors. Whenever the company makes the sale of the products without receiving the cash, thereby the concept of debtors will arise. So debtors has to give us money on certain period of time, so that is called as received from debtors. So both are considered as sales and we have to give this amount to the head office. Next, you have credit sales. Hold on to the credit side. This one, credit sales, we should not show this credit sales in branch account, but where we can show this entry I will tell you later. Next, head office is sending some checks to the branch for salary, for paying rent and for paying the petty cash. You know, always expenses will be entered on debit side of trading and profit and loss account. Next, goods returned by branch is nothing but purchase return. So in branch we are going to see show this purchase return on the credit side. Okay, so there is no hard and fast rules that we have to show the purchase return on credit side. We can even show this purchase return on debit side also, but you have to show it in the credit side. That will be good as of me. Then see the closing balance of assets. This is stock, petty cash and no debtors is given. So last entry you will be having goods returned by customers. So this is nothing but sales returns. We have sold and they have returned some goods, so that is called as goods returned by customers or debtors. So here the branch office is sending the goods for the the head office is sending the goods to the branch. This is assumed as purchases for the branch. So when the branch returns that goods, that will become purchase return. See here, goods returned by branch, this is nothing but the purchase return. Now let's see how we are going to prepare this ledger account. Very easier. You will get one one problem under branch accounting. We have two methods of preparing the ledgers. One is cost method, another one is invoice method. Now I am going to solve under cost method. In financial accounting, you get 20 marks for these two problems, one under cost and one under invoice method. Okay, now let's see how to prepare the branch account. Give the title like this: in the books of head office, Bengaluru branch account. Okay, see, debtors, particulars rupees, this side you write creditors. So first start with assets, to balance brought down. So stock, debtors and petty cash. Do you have any liabilities? No. If liabilities is given, here we are going to show the opening balance of the liabilities. Next, so see this closing assets, simultaneously post the closing assets by balance carried down, closing value of assets. So we have stock, we have petty cash, debtors is not given, we are going to find out the debtors value. Okay, next expenses, next purchases you enter, to goods sent to branch, this is nothing but purchases, enter it here. Next, to cash or bank, see, whenever the head office sends check, there we'll write as to bank. Whenever the head office sends cash, we'll write it as cash, but you can write like this, no problem, to cash or bank. Why? Because for few students it might confuse expenses, salaries, rent and rates and petty cash. You can show it in the inner column and get the total to outer column, or you can show it in the outer column itself. Next, come to sales. By cash, bank, in brackets, remittance. Remittance means branch will send some amount received out of sales or amount received from debtors to head office, that is called as remittances. So whatever the cash branch is getting, it is going to send it for the head office. So cash sales, cash received from debtors, both you are going to add and show here. Next, as I said, your purchase returns will be shown on the opposite side, that is by goods returned by the branch. You can show it like this. Otherwise, to goods sent to branch, the same entry, to branch, in brackets, purchase return, you can enter like this also, it is left to you. Next, see the closing values we have taken. Now we don't have the closing value of debtors, so we are going to find out closing value of debtors by preparing branch debtors account. So debtors means, we are company is going to sell the goods and services for the customers without receiving the cash now, it is going to receive the cash in the future. So there arises the concepts of debtors. So debtors means, we have certain entries which comes under debtors family. Say for example, credit sales, when we sell the goods on credit basis, that is what we call it as debtors. Okay, next, after selling, the cash is received from debtors, that is called as cash received from debtors. So after selling the goods, they might return the goods, that is called as sales return. So after selling the goods, we'll allow some discount for outsiders, that is called as discount allowed. So bad debts, when the debtors is not going to pay the amount fully for us, that will become bad debts. So these are certain entries you can remember as debtors families entries, so that calculation of closing debtors will be easier. See, branch debtor account will be prepared for three reasons. Example, in this problem, opening debtors is given, closing is not given. Okay, in some problems closing will be given, opening will not be given. In some problems, opening and closing both will be given, cash received from debtors will not be given. See, one thing you remember, if there is debtors, if the goods sold on credit basis, definitely debtors will arise in the problem. Okay, if there is no debtors, if there is no credit sales, there is no concept of debtors, there is no concept of cash received from debtors. But in this problem, they have given you opening debtors, they have given you cash received from debtors, hence we are going to find out the closing value of debtors. On the debit side of debtors account, so opening balance of debtors will take, and credit sales we are going to take, that's all. Why we are going to take this credit sales? To explain all this, it will take lot of time. Okay, so I'll just straight away tell you the entries: to balance brought down, credit sales, that's all. This side you are supposed to enter cash received from debtors, if sales return is given, if bad debts arises, if bills receivables is there, if any discount allowed is there, if any allowances is given by the company to the outsiders, all that entries you are going to pose here. Did you understand this? Credit sales, you should not show it in the branch account at any cost. Say for example, if opening closing debtors is given, if cash received from debtors is given, so no need of preparing this debtors account. And in such problem, if credit sales is given, just ignore that, otherwise you have to take that only in the branch debtors account. So now close it, you get 5,16,000 on both the sides. This 91,000 will become the closing value of debtors. So by balance, carried down, that is closing value of debtors it is. So put this closing value of debtors here, 91,000. Clear? So this is how you are going to find out the closing value of debtors. So that's all in the preparation of this preparation of the branch account. Now you just take the total and find out the answer. Okay, so we'll see whether we get profit or we shall see whether we get loss. Once again, so both the sides, credit side we are getting more, that is 8 lakh 6,85,400. So take bring the same total here, 6,85,400. The remaining balance we get 67,600. This is the balancing figure. You are going to write it as to general profit and loss account, profit to be transferred. That's all. This side, if you get the balancing figure to by general profit and loss account, loss to be transferred. And here, this whatever entries I have written here, compulsory these entries will be mandatorily given in the problem. So if you write these entries and post the amounts correctly, you might get format marks also. So please practice this and see that you are going to pass in financial accounting. Thank you.